In this short video, we're going to use the substitution method to solve simultaneous equations. So here we go. We have two equations, x plus 3y equals 23 and y equals 2x plus 3. So let's label these two equations 1 and 2. Now what do we see in the second equation? We see that y is equal to 2x plus 3. So what we're going to do is, the name is substitution, we're going to substitute for y in equation 1. So in equation 1, we see that we have 3y. So the next step will be to say x plus 3 times 2x plus 3, and that's because y is equal to 2x plus 3, and that equals 23. Next step is to multiply out this bracket here, so x doesn't change, we get x plus, and then we get 6x plus 9. 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times 3 is 9, and it equals 23. Now we can do the next step, the two steps together. We can say x plus 6x is 7x, and then we can take the 9 over to the other side, take away 9, so we'll get 7x equals 23 take away 9, so 7x equals 14. We don't want 7x, we want x, so divide both sides by 7, and we get x equal to 2. Now that is half the answer. We now want to find y, so what we do is we go straight up to this equation here, because this tells me how to get y. If we've got x, which we do have, we've got 2, we double it and then we add 3. So y is going to equal 2 times 2 plus 3. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7, so y equals 7. Now the last thing to do is we've got to check that these two answers, x equals 2 and y equals 7, work for this equation 1 up here. So we've got to do a check then. So if we take the left hand side, it becomes x plus 3y. So we know that x is 2, so we can change this x to 2, and 3y will become 3 times 7. So we go 2 plus 3 times 7. Well, 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23. And yes, we have 23 up here, so we know we are correct. Let's look at our second example now. So we have another two equations, 2x take away 3y equals negative 1, and 4x plus y equals negative 9. Now, we see the two equations 1 and 2. We see that we have a y in the second equation, a single y. Now, if we can isolate it, get it on its own, we can then do what we did before and replace it in equation 1. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to get y on its own from this equation, make y the subject of the formula, and we do that by saying y is going to equal negative 9 take away 4x, because negative 9 is there, it doesn't move. We want to move the 4x, so that's take away 4x from there, so we have to take away 4x from there, and that's what we get. Now the next thing we're going to do is substitute for this value of y in equation 1 like we did before. So equation 1 will become 2x take away 3 times this bracket, because that's now y, and equals negative 1. We have to multiply this bracket out by, be careful, negative 3. So we're going to get 2x doesn't change, and we get plus 27 plus 12x equals negative 1. Remember, a negative times a negative gives a positive, and 3 nines are 27. A negative times a negative gives another positive there, and 3 times 4x is 12x. Again, we can put the two x terms together, the 2x and the 12x can go together to become 14x, and at the same time we'll take this over to the other side. So we'll get 14x will be equal to negative 1 doesn't move, but we take away this 27 here and take away 27 there, and this is what we get. So negative 1 take away 27 is negative 28, so 14x is equal to negative 28. Divide both sides by 14 to get x equals negative 2. Now again, we've only got half the answer. We want to find y, so we can just take this answer and go all the way back up to here, because this is an expression that allows me to get y. So let's put in this x here will now become minus 2. So what will we see here? Y equals negative 9 take away 4 times negative 2. We can multiply negative 4 by negative 2, that becomes plus 8. So we get negative 9 plus 8, and negative 9 plus 8 equals negative 1. Now once again, here are my two answers, -2, -1. We want to check that when we put them into this equation here, we're going to get -1. So let's take the left-hand side of that equation for the check. We say 2x take away 3y will be 2 times -2, and then take away 3 times -1, like this. Now multiply this out, you get -4. Be careful, -3 times -1 is +3, so you get -4 plus 3, and then that gives you the answer -1, and that's what it was up there, so we know that we are correct. And that's the end of this lesson.